Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow.
Hey, how is everybody? Thank you, Very Little. Thank you so much, sweetheart. If everybody can see me and hear me properly, put a 1 in the chat. If you can't, put a 2 in the chat. Okay. You know, we gonna roast Dr. Phil today. Thank you, D's that still want us in a wedding gift. I'm just saying. Thank you so much. Y'all presence here is a wedding gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I might have to come back to Miss Ebony K. She keep digging a hole, y'all. She want to be cooked. I ain't never seen nobody jump on the grill many times as she do. She love jumping on that grill. I'm a griller. Long as she keep jumping up there, I'm a cooker. Okay. It look okay. I be trying to look at it while it's going so that I can see what y'all see and see the quality y'all see. Okay. We can go ahead and cook because it looked pretty good to me. Okay. Now, we are going to roast Dr. Phil. Now, what's going on with him is he had a couple of different remarks. And what I'm really going to do is I'm going to play Boyce Watkins' response to it, because I want to talk about his response as well. Oh, Ebony got on Breakfast Club talking crazy. Thank you, 39 Dina. She got on Breakfast Club talking crazy, y'all. She still talking cray. Tripling down on the foolishness. Oh, I got to tell y'all, Iyanla had a live stream today where she was readdressing the question and Ebony's responses and sort of the whole conversation that has been sparked behind the question that she asked. So I was watching a little bit of it, but I was more so caught towards the end of it. And I sent a super chat, right? And in the super chat, I thanked Iyanla for even asking a question that opens up the conversation. And I said my issue with her response was the equating of a person's profession to their value as a person. Do you know them hyenas in that chat room get mad? Oh, we don't like Crimson Cure. I know you don't like me. I know you don't like me. You need to get out of the chat. Make me get out of it. Hyenas always think they know what they can tell you what to do. A hyena always think they can tell you what to do. Y'all can't tell me. Y'all don't tell me what to do. Y'all can't even tell them little grim lords y'all birthing out what to do. Can't tell me what to do. And y'all sitting up in Iyanla chat like y'all listening. And y'all ain't listening to her. They was back talking her in that chat. And you can't really get no nicer than what Iyanla how she talked to them. She just be talking. She ain't even saying nothing. But she say she give them a little bone for the sisterhood, right? She give them a little bone for the sisterhood. But then she hit them with some accountability too, and that's what they can't stand. Because she'll give them a little leeway. Iyanla give them much more leeway than I ever gave, and she give them much more leeway than Shahrazad ever gave as well, Auntie Shahrazad. She give them more leeway than anybody, really, of the women, of Black women that talk to other women in a serious way where you can kind of take that seriously. She gives them leeway. She really do. You can't argue with that. And it's some of that leeway is where I disagree. But to each his own. I can't tell Iyanla how to communicate it to them, just like ain't nobody tell me how to communicate it. But at the same time, she give enough accountability to them to where they don't like it. They still don't be liking what she say. They be just as obstinate about what she say as they is about what I say, because the fact of the matter is, when you boil it all down, me and Iyanla is not saying nothing really too much different. The core of what we talking about is not different. The core of what we talk about is not actually different. She got a little bit different take to it, a little softer take to it, but the actual core of what she say is not different than what I'm saying. I just say it a little bit meaner than she gonna say it. She not gonna say it like that. I'm gonna say it like that though. But we're not gonna talk about Ebony. I might come back and talk about her. I'm gonna see, can I put out some videos? It's been real sketchy. That's why I ain't been putting out them videos. I usually put them videos out, and that actually helped my subscriber count, but it's been a little shaky. Y'all know it's been shaky with my internet. But anyway, we're gonna talk about Dr. Phil. Now, he had some things to say about reparations, and what he was talking about was basically, he was trying to say, if you give anybody or any group of people anywhere a whole bunch of money without basically changing how they think, they're going to be broke in a few months. They're not gonna have it. But he was saying that statement in regards to reparations for Black people. He wasn't just making that statement willy-nilly. He was actually having a conversation about reparations for Black Americans, and that was a part of what he was saying. And so Boyce Watkins actually mentioned it. Now, I'm gonna break some stuff down. After I get through playing what Boyce talked about, we're actually gonna break it down, because Boyce, while I agree with Boyce about Dr. Phil need to keep his mouth shut, because ain't nobody ask him, don't ask no question, ain't nobody ask him no questions. All right, we not asking white people questions. We not asking their opinion on whether or not we should give reparations. We are not asking white people whether or not we should do that. That is not what we are asking. We are not asking them, do you think I should give reparations, boss? We not asking them that. I have never advocated to ask them questions, because I don't want to hear your response, because you're going to respond in this lost cause narrative way. I already know what you're going to do. I can talk about what we're going to do with reparations. I'm Black. My mom and daddy Black. They mama and daddies is Black. They mamas and daddies is Black. We've been affected by it. I can talk to my people about what kind of mindset we have and things of that nature. He can't do that. So we're going to talk about this. Thank you, Feminine Code. Say congrats on 100K and the marriage. I'm up next. Real Housewives of New York, Ebony had a whole CFO 2 years ago, but left him too because she couldn't connect with his 3 kids. Hopefully this hyena bought a dog. I heard about that. You know, I might have to cook that part of it. She got a lot of sides to roast. Because she won't shut up. She got to be right. She doing that need to be right stuff. She keep on talking and trying to clarify. You don't have to clarify, boo-boo kitty. We know what you said. You said what you said, remember? Anyways. So let me share what Boyce Watkins had to say. And then we're gonna, because I agree with him about we not asking white people what they think, but I also disagree with some of the reasoning that Boyce has had, and I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with it after I play this clip.
That when I read this article, and I'm gonna give you just a preview of what was further down the article. I'm not gonna keep reading it, but I'm gonna tell you what Dr. Phil kind of came in with that same debate. He said, people aren't going to get wealthy if you just go give them a bunch of money. Those same people, a few months later, when you come back, they'll be broke again. And that is true. If you have a poverty mindset, chances are somebody gives you a bunch of money, you just will keep doing stuff that poor people do with their money, you're gonna be broke, right? I get that. But don't you find it interesting that that people show all this concern for Black people when it's time for them to pay up? They show all this concern, like, well, we're really concerned that if we give you the money, you're going to blow it because we know Black people aren't that smart. Like, do you ever notice that? Like that weird paternalism, almost like they're your parents. And I'm looking at them like, well, since when did you have all this concern about my economic or spiritual or psychological conditioning? At what point did you have all this concern for me? At what point did suddenly Black money matters to you now? Because it didn't matter to you when I told you that my business was drowning during the pandemic. It didn't matter to you when I told you that the whole hood was on fire and that kids are being killed and the daddies are being shipped to prison to concentration camps like Jews during the Holocaust. It didn't matter to you when I told you about the fact that you got 55 public schools in the city of Chicago where there's not one single child who can read or do math at grade level. That didn't matter to you. There was no concern there. There's no concern. But suddenly, when I show up and I do a Joe Pesci on you and I say, F you, pay me, suddenly it's like, well, we got to make sure Black people don't just waste the money because, well, you know what? That's when I just go Pesci again. It's like, what I do with my money is none of your damn business. What I do with my money, that's my business. That's our business. Our financial literacy, our economic intelligence, we got that. We have experts in the community that can teach those who want to learn how to manage money. We have stock market experts who can teach us whatever we need to know. We have real estate experts all over the place. The Julian Gordons and others that can teach us all about real estate. We have experts on how to start a business. We have experts on anything you have experts on. We got experts too. The difference is that you pay attention to your experts and put your experts on TV. You ignore our experts and fill your TV screens up with rappers and strippers and Negroes acting a damn fool. You don't pay attention to Black experts. You act like they don't exist. Intelligent Black people don't exist. So you fill the screens up with ignorance, and then everybody thinks, well, that's how those people behave. That's how those people act. Because you're hiding all the smart people and you're putting the dumbasses on television because you have a certain view of us as a people. You put us in this weird box. So what I'm saying to you is, you can keep your compassion and shove it up your ass. I don't need any concern or empathy from you. Just write me my check. Just F you, pay me. F you, pay me. Pay me my money. I worry about that. If I want to take my money and use it for toilet paper, that's my damn business. Because you ain't never, ever asked no other group that was paid reparations. You've never said, well, we can't give reparations to the Japanese because, we give them that money, they're going to be broke in 6 months. No, you owe something. When you owe people money, you don't have a right to say, well, I'm not going to pay you back because I'm worried about what you're going to do with the money. I'm a grown-ass man. I am not a child. What are you talking about? But that's the thing, though. We know the game. We know that this is not legitimate concern. This is selective compassion. We need you all to go get the jab because we're so worried about all the Black people dying from the virus. Well, you wonder where Black people been dying every single day since slavery, and you ain't never worried about it till it came time for Merck and make billions of dollars. That's when you start worrying about it. You start putting Black people in your commercial. Well, for our generational legacy, to preserve our generational legacy and our people, we all got to go make sure we're safe and go get the. Are you serious right now? You're really now you're trying to play this card that you have some sort of concern for Black people when every single time we line up and say, these are our list of concerns, you walk right past the list, you don't read it, you don't pay attention.
Now, generally speaking, I agree with the premise of what Dr. Boyce is talking about. We don't need, let me be very clear, and I know some people have not liked my stance on reparations, but let me be very clear. We are not asking white people what to do. We are not asking whether or not they think we can handle reparations. We are not asking whether or not they think we deserve reparations. We are not asking none of them questions to none of them. Even though I personally do not believe that this country will ever give reparations to us specifically, does nothing to negate the fact that they owe it. They owe it. Just like they owed the Japanese, just like they owed everybody else that they paid, they owe it. It is a debt owed. Period. Point blank. So this is why white folk is not invited to the conversation as to whether or not they think we deserve reparations or not. That is not a conversation that I am willing to engage with white people about. And the number one reason that I am not willing to engage in any conversation with white people about whether or not Black people should be getting reparations and what we may or may not do with reparations and all that is because they harbor a lost cause narrative. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you. Kevin Mockin said reparations will put Black men financially above white men and they can't handle that. See, that, and it's more. It's more as well. Thank you. JJOA said reparations for foundational Black Americans, not the Black community. If you say Black, you'll see foreigners claiming our FBA reparations. Okay. First of all, reparations is admissions of guilt. Thank you, Undani. Reparations are admissions of guilt. See, it run deeper than money. It's deeper than money to them. It's about money, but it's deeper than money to them. When Dr. Fields said that if you give a bunch of money to a person with a poverty mindset, the money is not going to benefit them. They'll be broke again. Now, he's not wrong about that point. Thank you, Theo Johnson. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, sweetheart, for your contribution. He's actually not wrong about that. If you give, it's the famous analogy that I like to give is people who win millions of dollars in the lottery. They win millions of dollars. It should be money enough, even with the taxes taken out, it should be money enough to survive for the rest of your life. If you win $30 million, you should be able to have that money for the rest of your life. You should not need any more money than that, because you ought to learn how to make that money work for you so that you can maintain that level of living that money will give you. Thank you, Kevin. It says something else is they want the land. When they came to this continent, they didn't have any land. You hear the police talking about murder a certain amount of us to set us back. Right. Thank you. Now, I need y'all to be really listening today. Thank you, Barry Little said Black farmers who have always been sabotaged and abused by Dr. Fields' kith and kin, the government and every presidential administration deserve cash reparations, replace stolen land, and protection. Precisely. See, that's never been my argument. Whether or not we deserve it just off the strength, that's never been my argument. It is a debt that need to be paid. It is a debt that need to be paid. Right? I'm myself, when I speak about reparations to us, first of all, I'm speaking to us. And I'm speaking to us from a place of love and concern and a place of trying to get us to actually understand the process of all of this so that we can actually do what it is that they fear that we will do. We're going to get all the way into this because it's actually a much deeper conversation. Now, when white people like Dr. Phil sit up there and say that they don't believe that giving reparations to Black people will do anything because of the mindset that Black people have, he's being a little tongue-in-cheek, and I'm going to tell you why. Thank you, MS Delta Guy. Says, sister, keep preaching and teaching. Congratulations on 100K subscribers. So proud of you. Thank you so very much. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. He's being tongue-in-cheek. The part that Dr. Boyce got wrong was thinking that they're talking about concern. White people as a whole are not concerned either way about what Black people actually will spend their money on because they're making a certain bet. They're doting on something. They're banking on something. See, when they talk about, oh, Black people not going to do nothing but squander the money, that's what they're banking on. And see, they're not 100% sure that that's actually going to be the case with Black people. And history actually proves them that they should not be completely rested in the fact that they've got us so firmly under thumb that we'll do exactly what they think we will do. Now, I'm going to revisit with you very quickly, very briefly. I'm going to revisit with you the lost cause, just this very first paragraph, and we're going to read it again, and we're going to speak to a particular thing. Lost cause is an interpretation of the American Civil War viewed by most historians as a myth that attempts to preserve the honor of the South by casting the Confederate defeat in the best possible light. It attributes the loss to the overwhelming Union advantage in manpower and resources, nostalgically celebrates an antebellum South of supposedly benevolent slave owners and contented enslaved people, and downplays or altogether ignores slavery as the cause of war. It became the philosophical foundation for the racial violence and terrorism employed to reverse Reconstruction, which is very key, and for the reimposition of white supremacy because it failed. So they had to reimpose it, right? That's a key sentence. It became the philosophical foundation for the racial violence and terrorism employed to reverse Reconstruction and for the reimposition of white supremacy in the Jim Crow era. Its acceptance in the North as well as in the South facilitated national reunion following the war, but at the cost of the civil rights of African Americans. If you understand the importance of that paragraph and all of the implications of such a paragraph, let me stop sharing. Then I need y'all to put a 1 in the chat. If you understood the implication, because we are really going to break that down. Thank you so much, D. Said, Kendra, I completely understood your stance on reparations. It was clear and concise. You said nothing wrong and or off code at all. You good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. I got some people that understood that paragraph properly. Mm-hmm. Dr. Phil and other white people, when confronted about the question of reparation, is always going to go back to the lost cause narrative. Thank you, JJOA. Said when it's time to give FBA's debt money, all of a sudden suspected white supremacists want to be pocket watching us, but they never ask whites about their money. It's the business starters who watch, not the shoe buyers. Exactly. Now, it's not care and concern that they are having, it's worry. In the lost cause narrative, one of the key components of that narrative that keeps it afloat for them is that slavery was necessary. That Black people as a whole are biologically inept and biologically incapable of governing themselves. As such, Black people need to be domesticated like a dog and taken care of by a master and or a master system. Otherwise, Black people are again biologically incapable of governing themselves. Now, the reason why that needed to be a part of the lost cause narrative is to justify chattel slavery, but to also justify every atrocity that happened afterwards, to justify Jim Crow, to justify red lighting, to justify all the various destructions of, to verify all of the various destructions that they have visited upon Black people time and time again in this country. They have always infantilized Black people due to the lost cause narrative. That is what they are using to say that we are incapable. See, they have to believe it to justify their own wrongdoing, but they also have to convince us of the same thing so that we will accept the wrongdoing and we will accept the subjugated position that serves them. I'm gonna let y'all eat on that. We're gonna go to a commercial break and we will be right back. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
Average game truck parties are a virus, but gamer versus gamer is the cure. Gamer versus gamer. Gamer versus gamer. Gamer versus gamer. Gamer versus gamer.
Happy birthday.
Gamer versus gamer. Gamer versus gamer.
Gamer versus gamer. We look forward to treating your child like the most important kid in the world on their birthday.
Hi, Gamer versus Gamer. Thank you so much for my birthday party.
All right, we back. We are back. All right, so if you or anyone that you know are in the Atlanta metropolitan area, then you definitely want to give Gamer versus Gamer a visit on their website by clicking the link at the top of the chat. And also, you want to give them a call, because if you have children with birthdays coming up, you definitely want to make sure that you are giving them a wonderful, memorable experience. And it's easy to do with Gamer versus Gamer because they are coming with the entire venue. They've planned the party with your input and what you want to see happen in this celebration of your child's life. And they do it while taking all of the stress out of the situation. So if you want to write your child a love letter, all you got to do is hit the link at the top of the chat, gamerversusgamer.com, and give them a call. All right. Also, I want to know how many likes. Please tell me I got more than 100 likes. But even if we do, bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to, All right. And go ahead and hit the like button for me. Let's get in the algorithm. Because they trying to throttle my subscribers now. They don't even want to acknowledge that I hit 100K. Because YouTube is still saying I'm ineligible for a verification check mark when I hit 100K like a day or two ago. All right. Like, oh, it takes a couple of days for our system to recognize it. Whatever. Anyways, I don't have a lot of time to waste. Let me get to it. All right. So, the lost cause narrative. They have always infantilized Black people, basically saying that we need to be domesticated and they need to be the ones that domesticate us, like dogs. All right. If you get a dog, you get a dog as a pet. And now I'm not against getting dogs as a pet, but we're going to look at it. The pet that you have, the dog that you take care of, depend on you for everything that it has. It depends on you for its life. It depends on you to feed it and give it the kibble in the bowl. It depends on you to take it outside to do its business, and it depends on you to exercise with it. It depends on you to play with it and then give it affection. It depends on you to take it to the vet if it ever gets sick, and all of these different things. Yes, the dog depends on you. If you don't do those things for the dog will die. Correct? However, there is an interesting thing with the dog. The dog doesn't really need you to survive. If you let that dog loose, that dog's instincts are going to kick in. And it's going to find a way to survive without you. Same thing with a cat. The cat depends on you to feed it, to have affection and take it to the bed and then take care of it and all that kind of stuff. Put the cat outside. Leave the cat outside and once that cat get hungry and realize you're not coming back to give it anything, it'll hunt and it'll eat. Because it will understand intrinsically that if it does not hunt to eat, it will die. And that it no longer can depend on you, no matter what kind of taking care of that you've given it. Nothing proved that to white people about black people better than what we did in Reconstruction. Now we're getting into the meat of it. Because slavery was an undisputed biocultural event. They controlled our biology. They controlled our culture. They controlled our environment and produced for us a value system that was the antithesis of the 10 life values that we were living by. The problem was that we kept enough of our original value system that when they had to let go of the biological control and the cultural control, the only thing they had was environmental control building. That had to, let me tell you that had them messed up because we weren't supposed to do that. We were not supposed to be able to quickly overcome the damage that they had done to us. See, their biocultural event was not as powerful as they had hoped that it would be because they always have to reinforce it. The key in that paragraph that I read you is that they must reimpose. They needed to reimpose white supremacy. Now, why would you have to reimpose it? Because it got destroyed. We destroyed that. We did that one time, right after chattel slavery. The destruction of white supremacy is the letting go of their value system and adopting our own. That's actually how you do it, and that's how our ancestors did it. We understood that process. Since they wanted to have control over the environment through segregation and all of these other types of things, we just created our own environment because we had control of ourselves biologically and culturally. The third piece is environment. They messed around and let us control all three. We immediately started building. Thank you, Cecil Ryu. We immediately started building. Thank you once again, MS Delta. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Says, sister, keep lecturing and teaching. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I greatly appreciate you. We immediately we was not supposed to be able to do that. No other group of people, Native Americans, did not recover. You understand that? They did the same thing to the natives. And then they allowed the natives to have control over themselves biologically and culturally. But they were unable to understand that process. So they remain on reservations. They remain in a broken, lost value system of their own. And they remain more or less dependent on a group that tried to oppress them. This is after reparations for them. This is the lesson I want Black people to learn. Natives got their reparations and they are not whole. And the reason that they are not whole is because collectively they did not understand biology, culture, and environment, and the interplay of all three of them. They kept their culture, more or less. They don't exactly have biological control, though, because they're relegated to reservations. That's a biological control and an environmental one. Birth rate low. They don't produce enough of themselves. They can't really reproduce themselves anymore to the level. They'll never recover those numbers. They'll never do it, ever. They have problems with drugs and alcohol. They have problems with their culture as well, becoming toxic. They don't have the control. They've been given reparations. Did nothing for them. They can't be made whole. Not because the reparations were given, but because they did not understand what to do. I'm trying to help us not make that mistake. Now, we proved them wrong with Black Wall Street. We see, they understand they can't really give us biological or cultural control because we will take environmental control. They know they can't do that. So they have to depend upon our being in the lost value system to continue to do things like be consumers in their system. Poverty and debt is in consumerism. Wealth and abundance is in manufacturing and producing. That our being a consumer primarily has served them. It destroys us and serves them. Do you remember in the, 40s, 50s, that video, How to Sell to the Negro? Thank you, JJOH. Said, incorrect. The Black Native Americans like the Yamasee never got reparations. Only the white natives got reparations. The Black ones were shut out. Okay. Thank you. They have given a how to sell to the Negro. We still abide by that. We have become consumers. That serves them. To believe that if we have the appearance of wealth, that we are wealthy, without understanding how wealth works actually. They depend upon us to remain in a mindset that supports white supremacy and the lost value system by us being consumers and not switching how we think over to being the producers and the manufacturers of things. Because if they do that and we repeat Black Wall Street, they can't bomb it anymore. Do you know what kind of Geneva Convention they will be breaking? Do you know America would be in trouble with other countries if we do Black Wall Street again and they bomb it? That'll be a civil war unlike anything this country has ever seen. This ain't the 20s and 30s no more. And other countries would be like, oh, this is what you do to your own citizens? Those are your citizens? They won't be able to hide that they did it. It'll be on social media so fast. They won't be able to lie about it. They won't be able to lie about that. So white people, this system, the reason why Dr. Phil's saying what he's saying and other white people say that same thing is because they are afraid that we might repeat that. Because if we can come out of direct chattel slavery and do that, why would we not be able to come out of a lost value system and do it again? They scared of that. They literally scared of that. This is why they are invested in convincing us that we can't do nothing with it and that it's useless to do that because you're just going to buy zooms and whams with your money. When I talk about reparations and not buying zooms and whams with our money, is because I want to stress that we actually know the answer. I want to stress that we will in fact understand the Bio-Cultiron event, and we will be able to act accordingly. See, they being tongue-in-cheek. You don't know, you don't know what to do with the money. See, they being tongue-in-cheek by saying, we know what we did to you. We know what we did to you. We know we crippled you. And due to the crippling that we do to you consistently, there's no way that you're going to be able to shake that off fast enough to do right by y'all people and by y'all selves without us. We're trying to convince you that if we let you as the dog out of the house, that you'll die if we don't buy you Alpo. We don't want you to realize you have teeth, claws, and instincts that will help you to survive without me. You do not need a master. You do not need a master. They don't want us to believe that we don't need them as that our lives are not better in their hands than it is in ours. That's what they want us to believe, that our lives, our best interest, our welfare is best in their hands, not ours. You can't do it on your own. You're too stupid. You just, po things, it's biological. You can't help how stupid you are. You can't help how much of arrested development you have. You're just not capable of thinking like us. You're just not capable of governing yourself. You're just not capable. Biologically, you're not capable. Well, look at you. Physically, you're strong, but mentally, you're weak. And you don't know up from down unless we tell you. You don't know what's best for you unless we tell you. You don't know what spiritual system is best for you unless we tell you. You don't know what's best for your health unless we tell you. See, we tell you to take the jab. A Dr. Sabi would tell you what herbs to take. And then they'll turn around and say, he don't know what he talking about. He a quack. He didn't go through one of our systems to get his doctorate and all that kind of stuff and all of that to be a doctor. So what does he know? He know more than what you know. Thank you again. MS Delta said, I feel the spirits of the ancestors. Thank you so much once again, beloved. Thank you so very much. We're going to cut this short because my computer going to give up the ghost. But I definitely needed to come tell y'all about why Dr. Phil and other white folk like him like to talk about that. Oh, you're not going to do nothing with it. They always have infantilized us. They don't care about us, but our consumerism has always supported them. That they care about. See, us believing the lies has always supported them. It supports their lost cause narrative. It supports what they do. It supports white supremacy. So they're always going to reiterate that to us. Thank you, Rumin. Said the problem is that all of us don't need to understand bioculture. Only a percentage of us need to get it and build again. The remnant will build and others will catch on to the tipping point precisely. See, just enough, Ruminant is correct. See, just enough of us, just a good percentage of us will need to know this information. That's who they scared of. Because there are going to be those of us who buy Zoom Zooms and Wham Whams with it. But there are also going to be those of us who don't. We're not just going to start little businesses and stuff like that for ourselves. We're going to actually spark a bioculture event for everybody. If we get out of their lost value system, that will be problematic for them. Because it crumbles white supremacy. This is why I be saying I don't think they want to do that, because they would not voluntarily destroy white supremacy, nor would they voluntarily give us the tool to destroy it for them. This is why I'm saying, I'm not saying they don't owe it. I'm saying it support white supremacy for them not to do it. They don't want to right a wrong. They don't want to do that. But in any case, I got to go. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Thank you for all your support. I want to go ahead and wrap this up, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.